What's up, guys?
What's up, bro?
I would love to answer some questions about the team today.
What are you seeing as you observe your receivers? Some of those guys like Hankerson, Morris. How much more have they developed? More
Man.
comfortable?
Yeah, I think those guys they're doing a great job right now. It's a strong group together, and what they're all doing is they're refining their skills so that they can all play any position on the field, which is going to help us with matchup problems. And Santana's still Santana Moss. He's still doing a great job coming in ready every offseason, and it's been a pleasure to work with those guys and just to see from a different perspective, not practicing, see those guys work and see the little things that they're working on. It makes me excited to get back.
What can you do this week that you couldn't do last week?
You saw me running a little bit, starting some cross fields. It got cleared to do that by Doc. So, doing that stuff. I ran 2 miles earlier this week out here when you guys weren't out here. So that's been a good part. But still trying to make sure I stay focused on not just the rehab part, but also paying attention, getting the mental reps, and just knowing it like the back of my hand.
Do you think there's a different feeling about the team because of how you guys played the second half of the season than this time last year when the team was coming off a 4-12 kind of year?
I think there's a totally different feeling within the team. I still feel like outside of the team, people still doubt us, but that's the way you want it to be. I feel like the guys came out here a lot more confident. Last offseason, with the addition of myself, Alfred, and a couple other rookies, and just the expectations from before the season last year, I felt like the OTA practices were pretty game speed-like, and a lot of guys are trying to prove to the coaches that they should be here, and they're doing the same thing this offseason, but I think there's a little bit more confidence going about that this offseason. Not a false confidence, just we know with the guys that we have coming back, with the guys that we added, that we can be really good this year.
Hey, Robert, from the passing perspective, when you went back and watched yourself last year, what are some things that you learned about yourself as a passer, and what do you need to do going forward to take that next step just from that perspective?
It's hard to grade it that way. I'm not a big stat guy. I'm sure Coach can tell you all the stats if you want to know what we were number one in and stuff like that. But for me personally, you just work on everything. Footwork. You can always be more accurate. I don't think I've seen anyone complete 100% of their passes throughout a whole season, so you can always do that. But for me, the biggest part was mastering the offense first so that I can continue to beat teams with my mind, get guys in the right position, and really it's just about getting the guys around you to play better and play for you.
Were you pleased with the decisions that you made in that area? When you, again, trying to go forward, were you pleased with that, or there were a lot of times you say, boy, I wish I had made this pass here, or was that pretty limited?
You try not to second guess. So, the touchdown to interception ratio was pretty good. And, there's some throws that, you look back and today, could I have made them? Yeah, I probably could have made them. But that's why you play the game. The more you play, the better you get. And so you can always get better. You never rest on what you did last year.
Robert, the first time you had the ACL injury in school, you had told us you thought you got a lot better arm strength because you were sitting and throwing and all those things. Right. Do you feel like you got better in any way? It's never a blessing in disguise, but anything you were able to work on maybe you wouldn't have this time around?
A lot of film work, watching the film alone and with the coaches within the rules of the CBA. And, so that part of it helped. And then, I was talking to the guys just towards the end of last year, being slowed down by the knee kind of slowed the game down for me because I had to slow down, and it made me have to get through a lot of my reads. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing this upcoming season, is getting through every single option that I need to get through, and while at the same time still being able to use my legs as a weapon.
Robert, it's kind of a two-parter. The observation most people say when they've seen the video of you the last couple of days is that you seem bigger this season. Are you coming into the year bigger? And B, what would it be like to have a healthy Pierre Garçon out there?
Are you calling me fat?
Yes.
Very fat. I'll talk about Pierre. It's weird. It's been a blessing in disguise that some of the guys that I've been able to work with these past couple of weeks throwing to, and Fred Davis, Pierre Garçon, Jordan Reed, and Chris Thompson. Those are guys that we're going to lean heavily on during the season. So I get to build that chemistry with them. get a feel for how Jordan and Chris play, and then continue to work with Fred, getting back, and Pierre. He's the guy, and like I told him a couple of weeks ago, he's my Kendall Wright. When I was in college, I had Kendall Wright, Terrence Williams, and a couple of those guys, and Pierre's going to be that guy for me. So I got to make sure me and him are on the same page, and he's a big play receiver, and he can do a lot of great things. So it's good to see him back healthy out here doing some of the stuff. It's a pleasure to be able to work with him. Not that I wanted him to get hurt or anything, but and then what were you asking about?
Just being bigger going into the season.
Being fat.
Yes.
I don't think I'm bigger. I think it's the spandex, but I mean, it's definitely the shirt. So.
Did you put on some muscle mass or weight in the off season at all?
I'm about 225 now. I was 224 last year. You kind of slim down. You slim down throughout the year, so I probably finished the year about 218, and around this time you do put on a little bit more muscle, and then you maintain the weight throughout the year. So that's probably why my pecs look amazing.
What have you noticed? I know it's just OTAs. We say just OTAs, but what have you noticed from Alfred this year? His demeanor coming in as a quote wily veteran.
Yeah, we're both wily veterans after 1 year, but it's a calm confidence about him. If you talk to some of the guys last year when we were working with him, fresh out of the draft, he didn't know what he was doing. We didn't know what we were doing. Everybody was all over the place. And, coming in this offseason, you look at him from day one, he just looked a lot more fluid, knows what he's doing. He ran for so many yards, had so many carries, so he got so many reps at it. And some of the other backs are starting to feed off of what he's been able to do. And he just comes to practice every day ready. Hard worker. We got a lot of funny stories about him running over people in walkthroughs, and because he never walks through. But he's done a great job, and he's a great teammate. And I saw that from day one, and it's a truly blessing to see the player that he is today.
Robert, the music we listened to today was yours. Obviously, Niles didn't approve at one point of the song you were playing, but then you switched it up. What goes through your mind when you're putting together the music for sessions?
I try to play to the masses, so obviously rap is where it's at. So I tried to put some country on. Some of my linemen wanted some country, so I had to make sure I took care of them. And then the R&B during walkthrough, during the stretch part, was just to keep them calm. But, those guys are, like bulls in a cage, so I just turned the rap on and pumped up some Biggie.
Robert, back to Alfred. How much of the success last season would you attribute to teams having to respect your ability to run as well?
No, I think that's real selfish of anyone to say. You don't take anything away from Alfred's talent. What he was able to do was not entirely on him, but you can say offensive line, you can say me, you can say the receivers blocking, but that doesn't take away from the player that he is, because it doesn't matter how big the hole is, or there's still guys out there trying to hit him, and he's bouncing off him. So I wouldn't say that myself. I wouldn't say that.
What impression do you have of Chris Thompson? I know it's just limited, but as you guys are working together on the side.
Great guy, from what I've been able to see, practicing with him and doing those things. Real explosive, fast guy, big play guy. The beginning of last year, he was tearing it up at Florida State and, had the injury. So he's coming back. He's doing a really good job. He's been in there with me, rehabbing a lot. So it's good to see him be so dedicated, and I feel like he's going to be a big part of the team.
You said you're holding him back. There are certain routes that you won't let him run.
Right.
Are you having to slow him down? Did you see him really eager?
Yeah, they're holding me back from doing some stuff, which is what they're supposed to do, and then I'm trying to keep him from doing some of the routes that I know are going to put stress, on his legs from cutting. So I try to keep it real calm for a little bit of the practice, and then when you guys see Halou come over there, that's when Thompson starts revving up his reps at doing the routes, because he doesn't want to be shown up by the other guys. So I try to keep an eye out for him.
There were people last year who were amazed by what the stuff you.
Yes, sir.
Amazed by some of the things you could do. I wonder how amazed you are by London Fletcher at age 38, out here running around, and he's never missed a game. And
it's incredible. Fletch, leader, hard worker. Coach likes to compare him to Jerry Rice a lot. I'm sure Jerry doesn't like that, but London's been a great teammate, even though I've only been with him for a year, and the guys love him. He's a hard worker. He doesn't have to be out here practicing, but even at his age and the amount of games that he's put up in a row, he still wants to be out here and working at it so they can get better.
Now that you did now that you did the sideline to sideline sprinting, do you have a better grasp on when you'll be able to do the explosive sprinting and the cutting? And also, did you find yourself at all kind of thinking about what you've been through while you were just doing that or that 2-mile run earlier this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a journey, you know. Everyone gets to see, you know, the flowers and roses side of it. You know, out here running, throwing, feeling good about it, having a little energy bouncing your step. But, you know, I've had to be patiently aggressive this whole time. Just, you know, let my body heal and, you know, be aggressive where I can. So, yeah, you know, you run and you do that kind of stuff. And I was kind of explosive sprinting there a little bit. You know, Jordan, those guys like to show off for you guys in the camera. So I have to make sure they're not beating me. But yeah, this next month will be the month where I start doing the explosive sprinting and explosive cutting, and it'll be good to have that, doing that stuff for a month, this month, and then a month before camp, so that I'm ready to go.